Welcome to the McNees Litigation Podcast Series. This podcast will address automobile insurance by James Franklin, attorney at law. Mr. Franklin practices in the litigation group and the transportation, distribution, and logistics group at McNees.
Hello, today I want to talk to you about automobile insurance coverage in Pennsylvania, specifically four issues that you need to be familiar with to make sure that you and your family have the right types of coverage and the right amount of coverage. Now, in Pennsylvania, if you own a vehicle, it's required that you have automobile insurance. However, it's a very complicated issue. It's complicated and confusing for almost everyone involved. So today I want to discuss four phrases that if you're not familiar with them, you should look into it, you should ask some people, and make sure you have the right coverage and the right amount of coverage to protect you and your family. So the first is limited tort versus full tort. What's the difference? Well, limited tort means essentially, as the term implies, you are limited in when you can bring or what type of damages you can recover if you have to bring a lawsuit for a motor vehicle accident. In full tort, those limitations do not apply. You may be asking yourself, why would anyone choose limited tort? It's less expensive. Your policy premium is going to be less if you get limited tort versus full tort. So you need to carefully weigh that consideration. Two, you need to understand what uninsured motorist coverage is and underinsured motorist coverage. Okay, think of these coverages as benefits that apply to you that would provide money to you in case you're in an accident and the person at fault either doesn't have insurance, which happens even though it's required by law, or they don't have enough insurance, which happens with some frequency. If either of those two situations would arise, then your uninsured or underinsured coverage would apply. So it's imperative that you make sure you have enough coverage. Your policy limits are high enough under each of those coverages. Three, you need to make sure you understand what stacked coverage is, so stacked versus unstacked coverage. And this applies to, again, underinsured and uninsured motorist coverage. It's a relatively simple calculation. You take the number of vehicles under your policy, let's say you have 2 vehicles, times your coverage for, let's say, uninsured motorist coverage. So if you have $100,000 of coverage, you have 2 vehicles, 2 times $100,000, you really have $200,000 of coverage. That's if you choose the stacked option. If you choose unstacked, you just have the $100,000. So you may be asking yourself, why would someone choose unstacked coverage versus stacked coverage? Well, unstacked coverage is going to be less expensive. The policy premium will be lower. 4, you need to understand what umbrella insurance is. Now, I cheated a little bit. Umbrella insurance really isn't part of your automobile insurance policy. Instead, what it does is think of it as excess insurance or extra insurance on top of your primary policy. So it covers over or in addition to your automobile policy. It can apply in addition to your homeowner's insurance policy or your renter's insurance policy, to name a few. So if your primary policy, let's say your automobile policy, is exhausted out of an accident or an incident, then your umbrella policy, your excess policy, can kick in. And it's a relatively economical way to provide you extra security, extra coverage for you and your family. Now here at McNees, almost on a daily basis, we're assisting people that have been in accidents or that have been in accidents. They want to make sure that their coverage fully applies. However, it may be beneficial for you to be proactive, that before you're in an accident, and I hope you never are, but if you are, you want to make sure beforehand that you have the right types of coverage and the right amounts of coverage. And here at McNees Wallace & Earp, we also assist clients with that very issue. So if you would like more information on this topic, please contact me using the information provided on your screen. Thank you.